Casuarina Prison exposed, where dangerous inmates are sent. Before we dive into this nightmare, tap subscribe. You're going to need the next episode if you make it through this one. The night the legend of Dante Calloway truly began was the same night police sirens carved through the industrial outskirts of Fremantle like electric knives. A pale blue moon washed over the shipping yards, glinting off metal containers stacked like tombs. Inside one of them, a van had crashed sideways, its back door flung open, leaking shadows. Dante stumbled out first, breathing hard, tasting the rust in the air. He wasn't a murderer. He wasn't a monster. But he was now the prime suspect in the armed robbery that left one security guard hospitalized and another missing. And the entire state wanted him in chains. The chase tore through the maze of containers. Officers moved in tight formation, flashlights slicing the darkness. Dante ran with the desperation of a man who knew the world had already decided his guilt. But he also knew something the police did not. Someone had set him up. And that someone was still out there. "Hands where I can see them," an officer shouted. Dante was cornered between a crane and a seawall. His chest heaved. The water below churned, black and freezing. Behind him, the officers advanced. In front of him, the drop was a death wish. He closed his eyes for half a second, then jumped. The splash echoed like gunfire. When they dragged him out minutes later, unconscious but alive, the headlines wrote themselves. Violent gang enforcer captured after midnight escape attempt. Calloway, the rising criminal mind of Western Australia. They painted him as a mastermind, a kingpin, a man who controlled an underworld he'd only brushed shoulders with. But by the time he regained consciousness in a hospital bed, the trial had already convicted him in the public's imagination. 3 weeks later, he was transported in cuffs to the one place designed for men like the newspapers said he was, Casuarina Prison. The ride was silent except for the hum of the van engine and the occasional squawk from the radio. The prison rose from the bushland like a fortress made of concrete ash. Guard towers loomed overhead, windows blackened, cameras scanning like mechanical predators. Razor wire glittered under the morning sun, and the massive steel gates clanked open with a sound that felt like a sentence being sealed. Inside, the air was colder. The corridors smelled of disinfectant and rust. Prisoners watched him from behind thick glass, some curious, some entertained, some calculating. Casuarina didn't house petty criminals. It held the state's most dangerous men, the ones too unpredictable, too violent, or too powerful to be kept anywhere else. A guard leaned toward him as they walked. "You're famous in here already. They think you're a shot caller. Hope you're ready to live up to it." Dante didn't respond. He didn't feel like a shot caller. He felt like a man walking into someone else's life. His cell block was known as H Unit, a place inmates called the Deep. It was where they sent men who needed to disappear into the system. Thick doors, limited yard time, constant surveillance. But it also housed another type of prisoner, the ones who had influence. And Dante was about to meet one. When the cell door slammed shut behind him, a voice drifted from the shadows of the neighboring cell. "So you're the boy everyone's talking about," the man said. His voice was low, roughened by years of smoke and cold air. Dante Calloway, the ghost from Fremantle Dock. Dante stepped closer to the bars. "Who's asking?" The man stepped forward, revealing an older face marked by scars and memory. "They call me Bishop. You're in my block now." The name meant nothing to Dante. But inside Casuarina, it meant everything. Bishop wasn't officially anyone, not a gang leader, not an enforcer, not listed on any police intelligence file as a high-value inmate. But inside these walls, his influence spread quietly and completely. Favors moved through him, disputes ended with him, and information flowed to him like water running downhill. Dante didn't know it yet, but Bishop had been waiting for someone exactly like him. Young, intelligent, underestimated, and with a story dramatic enough to attract attention. For now, Dante kept his guard up. "If you're looking for a recruit," he said, "I'm not interested." Bishop laughed softly. "You think I need recruits?" "No, son. I'm looking for the truth. And I don't think you pulled that job." The words stopped Dante cold. "Why do you care?" he asked. "Because someone inside here does." Bishop stepped back into the shadows. "And because the man who framed you, he's closer than you think." A chill ran through Dante. There were only two possibilities, and both were terrifying. Either Bishop was manipulating him, or Bishop was telling the truth. Before he could ask more, an alarm blared down the corridor. Guards sprinted past, boots pounding. A fight had broken out somewhere deeper in the unit. But it wasn't a fight that made Dante's blood run cold. It was one shouted phrase echoing through the blocks. "It's him. He wasn't supposed to make it inside alive." The words were aimed at Dante, and he realized with stomach-turning certainty that the real danger had only just found him. The alarms kept wailing long after the fight was contained, echoing through the concrete ribs of Casuarina Prison like a warning meant only for Dante. As guards escorted him back toward his cell, he replayed the shouted words again and again. He wasn't supposed to make it inside alive. Someone had expected him to die during the chase, or during the arrest, or somewhere between the docks and Casuarina's doors. Someone powerful enough to plan ahead. Someone who badly needed him gone. Inside the block, tensions rose like steam. Whispered conversations drifted from cell to cell, bouncing off steel bars. "He's the one from Fremantle. Bishop's watching him. He's marked. Everybody knows it." Dante tried to push the voices out of his head, but paranoia had a grip on him now, strong and merciless. By the time he returned to his cell, Bishop was already leaning against the bars, arms folded, studying him. "You heard the shouting," Dante said quietly. "Oh, I heard it," Bishop replied. "The question is, did you understand what it meant?" Dante forced a breath. "Someone inside wants me dead." "Not someone," Bishop corrected. "A group. And they're organized." The prison's fluorescent lighting flickered above them, casting a sickly blue tint across the block. Down the corridor, guards shouted instructions, securing inmates in their cells. Bishop waited until their footsteps faded before speaking again. "You were a courier, weren't you?" he said. "Never the planner. Never the trigger man. Smart enough to run, too smart to brag." "That's right," Dante said. He wasn't ashamed of it. It was the truth. He'd ferried messages, moved money, made connections. But he wasn't the violent mastermind the news had labeled him as. "So how," Bishop continued, "does a courier end up being blamed for a robbery worth $200,000 and a missing guard?" Dante shook his head. "I was supposed to drive the van to the drop point. That's it. But when I got there, the guards were already down, the cash was gone, and someone called the police on a burner phone." "And you think someone inside your old circle set you up?" "I don't think," Dante said. "I know. The only question is why." Bishop stepped closer. "Maybe you saw something you weren't meant to. Maybe you stumbled into something bigger. Either way, someone believes you can expose them." A guard's radio crackled in the distance. Bishop lowered his voice. "You need to understand something about Casuarina," he said. "Out there, your enemies hide in the shadows. In here, they hide behind lunch trays and cleaning jobs. They hide inside alliances, favors, debts." He tapped the bars between them. "And some of them hide behind badges." Dante froze. "You think the guards are involved?" Bishop didn't blink. "I think the prison is the safest place to bury a problem. And you, son, are a problem." A heavy silence followed. Outside, the yard gates slammed shut. Metal echoed through the corridors. Dante felt the walls shift around him, not physically, but in the way a man senses a trap slowly tightening. Then Bishop said something Dante never expected. "I can keep you alive, but I need one thing in return." Dante lifted his chin. "What?" "Tell me everything about that night." Dante hesitated. Bishop wasn't a savior. He was a strategist. Every move meant something. Every word collected was currency. But Dante didn't have many options. So he told him. Every detail, every sound, every face, every moment leading up to the robbery gone wrong. Bishop listened, not interrupting once, absorbing the information like a man who'd learned the value of silence long ago. When Dante finished, Bishop nodded thoughtfully. "There's a pattern here. And I know who can confirm it. Who? A man named Rowan, Bishop said. He's in Unit E, older inmate. Keeps to himself. Used to run with the same people who set you up. If anyone knows the truth, it's him. But E-Unit is restricted, Dante said. Only approved workers and long-timers get access. Bishop smiled. Leave that part to me. Days passed, each one tightening the knot in Dante's stomach. Word spread that he was being protected by Bishop, a blessing to some, a curse to many. Men watched him differently now, their eyes weighing his value, gauging his threat. The cafeteria felt hostile. The yard felt like a battlefield. Even the library felt like a place where whispers sharpened into knives. On the fourth night, Bishop made his move. 2 guards appeared at Dante's cell. Work detail, one grunted. Dante blinked. What detail? Laundry, the guard said. Move. Laundry duty didn't make sense. He wasn't assigned to it. He'd never requested it. And yet, Bishop's words echoed. Leave that part to me. The prison laundry was located on the edge of E-Unit. It was the closest an inmate like Dante could get, without special clearance. The moment they entered the laundry block, Dante saw him. Rowan, older, thin, eyes sharp enough to cut through steel bars. The guards locked Dante inside the room with him. The door thudded shut. Hale studied him quietly, then spoke. You're the one they tried to kill, he said. Not a question, a fact. You know about that? Dante asked. I know who planned it. Dante felt his pulse hammering. Who? He whispered. Rowan stepped forward, looked him dead in the eyes, and said a name Dante never expected, a name that turned his world upside down. It was someone from your circle, Hale said slowly. Someone you trusted more than anyone. He paused. It was your older brother. The room went silent. Dante's knees nearly buckled. His brother had framed him. His brother wanted him dead. Rowan leaned closer. And if you don't move fast, he whispered, he's going to finish the job. The name echoed through Dante's skull long after Rowan stepped away, leaving him frozen in the dim blue haze of the laundry block. His brother. The man who taught him how to tie his shoes, how to ride a bike, how to survive the streets. The one person he believed would never betray him. And now, according to Rowan, he was the one who wanted Dante erased from the world. Before Dante could speak again, the laundry door slammed open. 2 guards rushed in, their expressions tight. Work details done, one snapped. Move. Hale slipped back into the shadows as Dante was escorted out. But before the door closed, Hale muttered low enough for only Dante to hear. Tell Bishop. And be careful who hears you. The walk back through Casuarina was suffocating. Every set of eyes felt like a threat, every whisper like a countdown. By the time he reached his block, his breath was thin and cold. He needed Bishop now. But Bishop was already waiting. He leaned against Dante's cell bars, arms folded, the same calm expression that made him both trusted and feared. Well? Bishop asked. Dante swallowed hard. It was my brother. Bishop didn't blink. Say it again. He framed me, Dante whispered. He planned the robbery. He called the cops. He set me up to take the fall. Bishop's jaw tightened, but his tone stayed level. Why? That's what I don't understand, Dante said. None of it makes sense. Oh, it makes perfect sense, Bishop replied. Your brother is working with someone big. Someone who stands to lose everything if you talk. Dante gripped the bars. I wasn't going to talk. I never wanted to. I was just a courier. That's why you're dangerous, Bishop said. Because you're innocent. Innocent people don't keep secrets out of loyalty. They expose them out of principle. And someone knows that. The lights above flickered, casting the hallway in a deep blue glow, the kind Casuarina was infamous for during its nighttime lockdown. It made the walls look colder, the bars sharper, the air heavier. Dante stepped closer. What do I do? Bishop drew a slow breath. Survive until morning. Then we plan the next move. But survival wasn't guaranteed. Not anymore. Dante barely slept. Every sound jolted him awake. Footsteps, keys, distant shouts. At 2:14 a.m., someone tried his cell door. The lock didn't open, but the attempt was unmistakable. He sat upright for the rest of the night, heartbeat pounding against the silence. At dawn, Bishop appeared again. "You have to confront him," Bishop said. "Get the truth directly. But there's only one way to do that." "How?" Dante asked. "Face to face," Bishop said. "Visitors wing. I already put in the request under your name." Dante blinked. "You what?" "You need closure," Bishop said. "And leverage. If your brother admits what he did while inside a monitored room, that's evidence. Evidence you can use." Dante felt his stomach twist. "And if he doesn't admit it, then you'll know where you stand." 3 hours later, Dante was escorted to the visiting wing. A cold, sterile room divided by reinforced glass and bolts. He sat down, palms sweating. A guard nodded toward the door. Then his brother walked in. Older, sharper, expression unreadable, like a man who'd buried a lifetime of secrets behind his eyes. He sat down slowly, picked up the phone. Dante picked up his. "You look rough," his brother said calmly. "Casuarina will do that to you." Dante didn't bother with small talk. "Why did you set me up?" A silent beat. His brother exhaled through his nose, as if mildly annoyed. "You weren't supposed to ask that." Dante felt something inside him snap. "You framed me. You wanted me dead." "Why?" His brother leaned in, eyes cold. "You were the weak link, Dante. The only one who could crack under pressure. So yes, I made a choice. I did what I had to do." The words hit harder than any punch in the yard. "So you were going to kill me?" Dante said. His brother shrugged. "It was handled. Or supposed to be." Dante's hand shook around the phone. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because you're not making it out of that prison alive," his brother said. "You're as good as gone." Dante's blood ran ice cold. He slammed the phone down, breath shaking. The guard stepped forward. "Visit's over." But before Dante was led away, his brother whispered just loud enough to carry through the glass. "Goodbye, little brother." Back in the block, Dante staggered to Bishop. He admitted it. Dante said, "Everything." "I expected as much," Bishop replied. "But now you're out of time." "What do I do?" Bishop stepped close. "There's one last move. One that changes everything." Dante stared at him. "Tell me." Bishop nodded toward the guard station. "You're going to request protective custody." Dante recoiled. "That's suicide. Everyone will brand me a rat." "Everyone already thinks you're dead," Bishop said. "Protective custody keeps you alive long enough to testify. Long enough to expose your brother's operation. Long enough to rewrite your story." Dante felt the weight of it all, the betrayal, the danger, the impossible choice. Then he nodded. "I'll do it." Bishop smiled faintly, the first real smile Dante had ever seen from him. "Good," Bishop said. "Because your brother isn't the only one who built a legend." He leaned in. "Now it's your turn." Dante entered protective custody that evening. News spread instantly. Some mocked him. Some respected him. But Bishop's shadow protected him even from afar. His testimony, combined with Rowan Hale's statements, cracked open a criminal network bigger than Dante ever imagined. His brother was arrested. Others were taken down. And inside the system he once feared, Dante became something unexpected. A survivor. A whistleblower. A man whose story carried weight beyond concrete walls. Casuarina Prison made legends. Dante became one of them. And months later, as he walked toward a courtroom to testify, he realized something. This wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning. If you thought this story was intense, the next one will hit even harder. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.